and we started to learn the Haggadah. It actually blows my mind. It just changes everything. Actually, just enjoying the blackout. I noticed that, like there's no electricity, there's no anything, no internet. It's like the kumquats on the tree kept on growing, and the grass kept on growing. The world works out. It's like it doesn't black out. So I mean, there's no blackouts yet. Well, so that's a little bit of. So what we learned until now is that the way Hashem created the world, it's not only that we're B'Tselem Elokim, as if that wouldn't be enough, or B'Tselem Elokim, that we're here to finish off the process of creation, but it's actually much more technical than that. And that is that Hashem created the world, so think of it as, this is what we learned, think of it as a circle. Nefesh Hachaim doesn't speak of a circle, but we're talking about a circle, and the circle would go, or for our purposes right now, a triangle, and you have the Shemayim, and you have the Adam, and you have the Beis HaMikdash. And a circle in the sense that it's a circuit. It has to all be hooked up and connected, and if there's a short anywhere, whether the short's within us, whether the short's in the Beis HaMikdash, or whether the short's in Shemayim, so then this whole flow of the world is just simply not going to work. Everything that's in the world today just won't work. No, there would be a blackout. It just wouldn't happen. So that we know of, there's three parts here that have to work. So if you think of it as that, if there's no Beis HaMikdash, there's a whole concern in how to get what we do up, and B, there's maybe it's more important, is the whole creation came about through the Beis HaMikdash. The whole Even HaShasiyah and the creation and the ongoing creation came about from that Makom of Rimenu Hushasas Kol Ha'olam Kulei. From there came out the entire world. So from the Makom HaMikdash came out the Makom of Yerushalayim, the Makom of the Middle East, and the Makom of the ocean, as the Ukianis, as the Zohar says. It's all there. So the 3 points are extremely important. The question is, can we do anything without the Beis HaMikdash? So apparently we can. We're not a blackout, we're a brownout. We can still connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu and HaKadosh Baruch Hu to us, but it's not just a thing on the side, it's part of the circuit. Here we're learning that it gets much more sophisticated than that, and that is that the first, let's just learn, I want to learn this inside, Hagah. Mishkan v'hamikdash hayukolim kol ha'koychos v'ha'olamos. Everything was in that Beis HaMikdash. When we're talking about Hashem giving us the Makom of the Mikdash, which came about through Nevuah, like where is this place? Where is this place? And then to go and build there with tremendous Ruach HaKodesh, both in the case of the Mishkan and eventually in the Beis HaMikdash. When we're talking about a building, if you will, structure, which is hayukolim kol hakoychos v'ha'olamos, v'chol hasidrei kedushos kulam, kol batav ugnazav urginzachav aliyosav v'chadora v'chol kli hakodesh. If you will analyze, you go through Masechta Midos, and you'll analyze every antechamber of the Beis HaMikdash, and every keli of the Beis HaMikdash, and its attics and its basements, you will kulam hayubedugmel yoina. You will know exactly on a microcosmic level what the Shemayim looks like. It's wild, no? Exactly what the Shemayim looks like. If there's a basement in the Beis HaMikdash, there's a basement in Shemayim.
Go to the physical realm here?
This is on the physical realm, and in Shemayim is on the spiritual realm, like everything, which is Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira, Asiya. Everything starts off on on a spiritual level, everything, our bodies, table, everything starts off on a spiritual level. It's the way of the Bria, and then becomes maybe metaphysical, and then it takes some form, and then it becomes the world as we know it. So the Beis Hamikdash is a mirror, as we said last time, or mirror site of what's going on in Shemayim. But in a way, it's better than Shemayim, because in Shemayim, first of all, is infinite. You won't get to tour the whole Shemayim, but you can tour the Beis Hamikdash. You can see it, but also it's there in a way, like the schematic of what's going on inside this huge, infinite place called the Olam Haba is a bit more handy in the sense that you can have it all right there in front of you. You know, the mashal I gave, and I don't want to be, as I said last week, I don't want to be reductionist, but like if you have on your iPhone if your house is armed, if your house is armed with a burglar alarm and you have cameras all over, so you can see the whole thing on your iPhone, shape of a house, right? And if there's a breach, you can see an opening. You've ever seen those things? You have one. You can see a breach here, a breach there. This buzzes, that buzzes. In a way, it's a lot easier to look at your iPhone than it is to look at to walk around the house, and it's also safer than doing that. And you can do that even if you're in Italy or in China. You can take a look. So what the microcosm is what we have here with the Beis Hamikdash. This is becoming very, very important. So whatever you have up there, dugmasai lamata. Whatever you have here, dugmasai lamala. So it's not just another switching point or another place, another chibur which connects the circle. But what we're talking about is actually the Shemayim and its whole microcosm right here in this place. Cool. Yeah. Sorry.
The human brain, that is one part of the brain that is responsible for moving this finger, and it's also mentioned.
Yeah. So let's get to the brain in a minute. Kulam hayu bedugmel. Right now we're talking about the Beis Hamikdash. Selem, Demus, Tavnis hoy Lomais Hakedoshim, Sidrei Pirkei HaMerkava. These are all different departments in the Shemayim. Selem, Demus, Tavnis hoy Lomais Hakedoshim, Sidrei Pirkei HaMerkava, Hema Yisodam, David u'Shmuel Haraya. Haraya means Hanavi. David HaMelech understood what we're talking about by building a Beis Hamikdash. He wasn't building a building. He wasn't building a headquarters, nice, He understood that this is the place Lamata, which is going to be the mirror image of the place Kivyachol Lamala. David HaMelech conceived of this. Shmuel Hanavi saw it. Shmuel was bigger in Nevuah than David HaMelech. Shmuel Haraya. Hakol, this says in Divrei Hayamim, Hakol miyad Hashem aleim, describing the work of David and Shmuel Hanavi. Hakol miyad Hashem aleim, hiskil kol malachos hatavnis. Hashem gave them what might be possibly the most spectacular nevuah in history, that the workings of Shemayim ad kedei kach, that they can build it in here. You see, like we're going to learn, but I just want to jump the gun, that B'Tzalel says Malei Chachma Tvuna V'das, Chachma Bina V'das. This is the highest place in the Keser, right? You have Keser Chachma Bina, or as we learned in Talmud Dvara, you have Chachma Bina Das, which is the flip side of the Keser, more understandable perhaps in the Keser. And that's what B'Tzalel was holding. B'Tzalel was holding up there. In other words, in order for him to build the Mishkan, B'Tzalel, this kid B'Tzalel, in order for him to build the Mishkan, he had to be malei with information and understanding about what's going on in the higher worlds. It's not that he had the chachma to build this beautiful sink. He was a great designer, great decorator. In his B'Tzalel art school, what you needed to do is actually have a yediyah in Chachma, Tvuna, and Das, which is the three highest level of the spheros. And then you can start putting it over here with Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, Netzach, Yisod, and Malchus. But you had to be up there, really up there, and things that they couldn't conceive because it was just too much to conceive. So the Torah says, K'chol asher ani maroischa bahar. Anything that I'm going to show you, like sometimes you won't be able to understand it because it's way too esoteric and way too spiritual and ethereal. So some things I'm just going to have to show you on the Har. I'll show you the menorah on the Har. There are certain things I'm just going to have to show you. Now, what's interesting, and I just want to put this information inside of our minds for a second. The other thing Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't conceive, which is, like, he couldn't understand the menorah, so we explained last week, according to the Gaon, because the menorah is 50 pieces to it, and he couldn't understand the Shaar and Nun. I don't know if you recall. We learned the Adaras Eliyahu together. The other thing that Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't conceive of was the Machzas HaShekel. That was really difficult to understand. What's so hard to understand Machzas HaShekel? Every guy on Wall Street understands the Machzas HaShekel. What's hard to understand about it? I can't understand the Machzas HaShekel. Right? Shabbat Shobah Matbeya Shalesh is the Pella. But obviously, what he couldn't chop with him is that, okay, we got the Beis HaMikdash, we have the Mishkan, I can understand that. The man, how does the human fit into this? That's what he couldn't understand. Like, what do we, like, I could understand already this geographical site called the Mishkan and later on the Beis HaMikdash. I could understand what that's doing. But you're telling me now that each person has to become part of that and part of this circle or this triangle, if you will.
How's the Mave making Moshe feel better?
You don't know what he saw. He didn't see a silver dollar flying around in the
It's not physical vision.
I don't know what it was, but I'm saying I don't know what physical means. But it wasn't a dollar bill flying around in the Shabbat. That he could have chopped himself. So I saw one of the silly commentaries, not Orthodox. Well, they didn't have currency in the desert.
Shiurim Shalesh, though. What's the significance of the Eish?
Eish. Eish, because that Eish is always represents. You see, Moshe Rabbeinu looked at the sneh, so Eish. On the Mishkan there was Eish. The Eish always represents the Shekhinah. An Eish Shomalo. It's always the Shekhinah. But I don't, without going into what he saw, how he saw this, but I just my regesh is that what he couldn't chop was the menorah. That had to do with the Beis HaMikdash and the Mishkan. And what he also couldn't chop is the person. That was even more difficult to chop. Like how does this person, and not only that, every person. And why machzis? What's a machzis HaShekel? It's mashma, half here, half there. Right? In other words, like isarusa de lasata, isarusa de leila. Machzis HaShekel, you're half. You're doing half. So like I said at the beginning, like your chibur here has to go both ways. That's what a circle is. So as much as you're taking things up, it's also coming down. So how does the Adam fit into this? But the Adam is just half of the story. This was the Kabbalah that Moshe Rabbeinu was trying to grasp, and he couldn't grasp it. So I guess we shouldn't expect to grasp. Eitan Yehuda wants to grasp it, but Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't grasp it. He couldn't grasp it. What are you talking about? As a person, these are guys that are complaining that we don't have enough garlic over here. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? All of a sudden we're holy people. They were slaves. Just people. We're just people. just people. But this is the chap of Machzas HaShekel. So what he really, one of the most difficult concepts in understanding this, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to be Mara Bahar. Had to show him in the heart. There's a simple level of nevuah wasn't strong enough for this purpose. Because it was, but why? Because nevuah is a nevuah. But what if you have kashas on the nevuah? The nevuah doesn't work for me. This nevuah is not working for me because what's these Adams already? Who's Korach? What Adam?
What did David and Shmuel add onto the Mishkan? If the Mishkan was already the Mishkan's not the Tabernacle?
There was also a Makom. Mishkan was portable. People are portable. Is there actually a place, is the question that David HaMelech had, is there actually a place that we can point to, and that's where the Bria comes through? Is there actually a place? And the place, and then where is the place? And they had to go through all kinds of, also, just while I'm here, if you look at the Chumash, we're going to Eretz Yisrael, and Hashem says to Moshe that when you come to Eretz Yisrael, so as soon as you get in, there's a bracha and there's a klolos, a bracha al har agrizim, Lol on Harevo, you know, and then the Torah starts off with a complete restriction. Right? You cross the Yarden, you make a right, you hang a left, you go a little bit north, and there you'll find they look exactly the way it was and where to go and how to go. When it came to Yerushalayim, there was no such instructions. It had to be completely through Nevuah. And the pshat is that bracha, klala, okay, I can tell you exactly how to get a bracha. I can tell you exactly how to go, right? You get on the bus, the 409, you go to Bnei Brak, you go to Reb Chaim Volozhin, you get a bracha, you go to Har Grizim, you go to Har Evel is the curse. Bracha is on a very low level, relatively speaking. How to get a bracha? I'll tell you exactly. How to get the actual Makom of Yerushalayim, how to know that? This is something that we need to struggle for, because this is something we have to be zochet to. You can't just get on a bus and walk in. You have to be zochet to this through our own ruchnius, and it was only Shmuel and David that were able to realize this. But David had a nevuah that there is such a thing. There is such a thing, and this is the Holy Land.
They didn't have a Kabbalah from the Avos?
Apparently they did, because Malki Tzedek, Melech Sholem, so when Avram Avinu came to Eretz Yisrael, so he made a beeline to Yerushalayim.
Right.
So apparently there was some, and also of course the Sulam of Yaakov and the Akedah. So apparently there was such a tradition, but they didn't know exactly where it was. It could be they had a Masort or such a place, but they didn't know exactly, and they certainly didn't know what it looks like. They certainly didn't know. And the Chacham of Shlomo also knew exactly what it looked like. It's also fascinating to note that the Bayis Sheni was different than the Bayis Rishon, which I didn't see it in the sefer, but just Libi Amar Li, that the Shemayim is different these days. Once there's a Charbon and once there's a Nituk to the Shemayim, so the Bayis Sheni did not have the exact. It wasn't the same Makom, most of the same Shiurim, almost. But there were a number of things. The Gemara says 5 things that were in the Bayis Rishon that weren't in the Bayis Sheni. One of them being the Shechina.
Could it be that we're affecting, or Yerida
No, we're different.
Yerida Sadot is doing Yerida and Shemayim?
B'diuk. Like, in other words, that ad kedei kach, how we're powerful here, that it's that the Bayis Sheni is different than the Bayis Rishon. They knew what the Bayis Rishon looked like. They go like the Bayis Rishon, and the Bayis Shlishi will be yet different. I'm on the one hand, it'll be more closer to the Bayis Rishon. I mentioned a number of times that the Nevuah, the Bayis Sheni was based on the Nevuah of Yecheskel. They thought they were building the Bayis Shlishi. They thought they were building the permanent Bayis. They didn't think let's do something and then it'll be destroyed and then Mashiach. They thought this was it. We're going back to Eretz Yisrael in the time of Ezra and we're doing. That's what they thought. It was, in that sense, it was a mistake. But the difference is, it's exactly on parallel, as Reb Gil is saying, exactly on parallel with our Madrega was the Madrega of the Bayis Sheni, which apparently was a different picture of what's going on in Shemayim. Shchinta begalusa was a different.
Why are we?
Any changes shown in the stars itself? Like the changes in Shemayim, is the physicality also changing? The stars maybe?
Why are we saying that Bezalel had to understand what he was making? Why can't he just have a nevuah, make this? And it doesn't have to be like he can typing to Bezalel.
Oh, Bezalel.
Yeah, we're saying Bezalel understood Shemayim and then was able to create what he saw up there. Why not just see what I'm supposed to create now here, without understanding it? Because that's what Hashem wants me to see, to do it.
Because it would be so much less avoda on our part to try to grasp what we're doing here. It'd be like building a shul without having any concept as to why, what, like what are we supposed to do there, what's supposed to happen, it's okay, then you're a kabbalah. We all know in this kehillah that it's not the kabbalah that's building the shul, right? That's just the gashmis of the shul. He could be Japanese for our part, but it's the when you're designing this, you want to understand very, very deeply what the energy is. It's a different avoda. Ramur Chazal b'perak ezahu mekayma. It's in Zvachim. Ma'idich siv. Says in the pasuk, Vayelachu Shmuel vayeshu b'noyos b'Ramah. Shmuel lived in Ramot, something like that. At least his kever is there apparently. Both Shmuels, right? Shmuel Aleph, Shmuel Beis, all that. Ramasayim Sofim. Nayot is a different place. Ushmuel v'yelachu David Ushmuel v'yeshu b'Nayot b'Ramah. Inyan Nayot Eitzel Ramah. You can't be in two places at once. Elash Hayoshvin b'Ramah. V'oiskim b'Noyav shel Olam. But they were osek in what's going on in Shemayim. Noy. Upirish Rashi, Limsai Makom, what were they busy with? They were sitting and they were soul storming over where is the Makom, Limsa Makom Lebeis HaBechira min HaTorah.
Losing a Torah.
I don't know. Why does it say min HaTorah? Because I guess, somewhere in this triangle we got to put the Torah. Because Istako Baraisu Bar Alma. So they were probably looking, I'm guessing, but they were probably looking in the Torah for the remez. Because everything is in there, because that's the blueprint. If the whole thing is that the Shemayim and the Oretz are connected, the Torah is your go-to place to see what's going on. So it was Nevuah, learning Torah b'Nevuah. So Mashakasav b'Tanchuma Reish Pekudei Shu Shakol Keneged Brias Ha'olam. That the Beis Hamikdash is also, listen to what's going on here, Shakol Keneged Brias Ha'olam. Umayna Sham Kisidran Klal Ha'inyanim Shahayu B'Briya. There, if you look at the Tanchuma, Shema Hayu Gam Kein B'Mikdash. There's an ocean in the world. There's a Kiyar in the Mishkan. Everything. So there's another piece, and that's why I stuck with the circle and not the triangle. There's actually a lot of little, places along the way. But you also have the world. How does the world fit into this? So the world fits into this because the world, the world is also a reflection of the Shemayim, but the microcosm is in the Beis Hamikdash. So you have to have the whole world in the Beis Hamikdash. A lot of different. L'chein amar akasu b'tzal, and that's why it says by b'tzal, ba'amalei oisei ruach elikim b'chachma u'v'smuna u'v'das. Ki be'elu agimel dvarim nivroi lamais. We know that when Hashem created the world, through the Kaser, he started off with Kaser, Chachma and Bina, or Chachma, Bina, and Das. So that's what he needed to know. This was the information that was important here to build a Mishkan. Hashem b'chachma, meaning the Chachma of the spheres, Yasad Aretz. Koinein Shamayim Bitvuna. This is a pasuk in Mishlei where Shlomo Melech is describing, and it's not just he made it. Wow, this is like you have a smart house, you have a smart world. No, he used the midah of Chachma, was the midah all the way on top of the spheres to build the world. That's what it means. B'daito tohoimois nifkalu. So you see it, Chachma Yasad Aretz, Koinein Shamayim Bitvuna. B'datoi with das nifku tohaimas. So there's your chachma, bina, and das. V'ayin zayar, u'b'zayar chadash, ayin sham ba'ayrach. And there it describes, which he apparently chose not to say, so I'm saying it, that it's to understand that the Beis Hamikdash was a model of the entire world. Okay, and the Zohar and the Tanchuma here go through the detail of which part of the Beis Hamikdash is fascinating to look at. Just read the Tanchum at the beginning of Pikudei. Fascinating to see which part of the Mishkan represented the, which continent and which part of the world and the oceans of the world and the mountains of the world. It's all in there. But what the Zohar comes over the Tanchum and says, and forgets nicht, that it's also a replica, or is that the right word? A replica of the Shemayim. So means to say, you can look at the Beis HaMikdash with intelligence or with Kedusha, and you can know exactly what's going on in the Shemayim. So everything works in concert. Ayin Shem Ba'arech. L'chein Amru Chazal, Yodei HaYibetzalel, this is the answer to your question, Reb Dov. Yodei HaYibetzalel Tzaref Oisiyah Shenibru B'hem Shemayim Ba'aretz. Don't think that Betzalel was just following a plan over here. He was seeing the Oisiyos Shebehem Nivra Ha'olam. He was seeing those, and that's what he was using to build the Mikdash. V'lochein ha'adam. Okay, so now we've got clarity, so to speak, a little bit of clarity on the Shemayim, and we understand what the nevuah of Betzalel and Shmuel Hanavi was in the Beis Hamikdash. What about the person? V'lochein ha'adam me'am ha'kodesh. If you are a Jew, you also encompass within you the entire Beis Hamikdash. So we too are a microcosm of the entire Shemayim. And that's the part that's wild. If you put your hands up to daven, you think you're putting your hands up to daven. That's Yachinu Boyas. If you have kavanah with your heart, you think, okay, I'm using my regesh to davening. That's Kodesh HaKadoshim. The different parts of the person correspond to the different parts of the Beis HaMikdash, which correspond to the different parts of the Shemayim. So what we have is a person who's a walking Beis HaMikdash, which can explain to us why we have some reception even though there's a destruction. But whatever you have in the Beis HaMikdash, so theoretically, Betzalel could have not looked up to be Mitzareh V'Oisir Shemayim Ba'aretz Chachma Bina V'Das. He did. That's what he did. He could have just looked at him in the mirror and say, this is the way the Beis HaMikdash should be built. It's hard to know it until you see the Beis HaMikdash. Then you see yourself and say, oh, I have all these pieces. So the Adam, the Adam, by the way, is also Kollel Kol Habriya. We learned it at the beginning, the Zohar, which says that the Adam, remember in the first Nefesh Hachaim Shaar thing, that the Adam himself is Kollel the trees and the mountains and the oceans and the rapids. We have, that's why Tiskaber Kari, Oz Kanomer, Ratz Katzvi, and in a way we should be, we were just learning about Rabbi and Rav Yosef, one's Sinai, one's Iker Har. These were not just random examples. Different. Rav Yosef, if he was Sinai, he was a Chelek of the Bria called Sinai. There's a Har Sinai in this world, and that's Rav Yosef. So the Adam, Kollel Gamken called Sidrei Breishis, two things. Vis Sidrei Merkava. So we have within us the entire world. Everything Hashem created in 6 days of Breishis, created on the last day Adam, which is Kollel everything. Vis Sidrei HaMerkava. Yecheskel gave us a glimpse into the Shemayim. We're walking around with that also. When you start to think about it, like it's not such a pella that you're not supposed to bring your tefillin into the bathroom. How do you bring yourself into it? We're walking around with the Kodesh Kedoshim. Maybe because it's in a kiss b'tay kiss. So hidden, until you can find your life. Kiss b'tay kiss is what? Ugam ken dugmas, tavnis, v'tavnis, and a person is also a dugma of the tavnis, dugmas v'tavnis, hamishkan, v'amikdash, v'chol kelim. All those kelim are within us. B'chuvan b'seder hiskashus pirkei evara v'gida v'chol koichosav. It's all within us. V'chein mechalek b'zoyer klal tavnis hamishkan v'keilo shem remuzim kulam biyadam echad be'echad yikshu keseder. So we do the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. Ezu Makom shel Zoch. You do the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. It's so, if a person is making a change, even a drop, in the way Hashem wants to do the avodah, because nowadays the kids can't relate to it if we do it that way. If you make even a drop of a change, you're messing with the circuitry of the entire, not just the entire bria. Not just the entire bria, but the entire Shemayim. It's all exactly there, and the gift that we have, that we know exactly how to do the avodah correctly, is hafla fella. But you don't want to change the avodah.
When it says Seder Merkava, that means Seder of Shemayim?
Yes. The part of Shemayim that we can have, that Yechezkel was able to see. So isn't it so significant that once we had the Churban Bais Rishon, Yechezkel had a nevuah about the Merkava. In other words, okay, you're not looking at the Bais any longer. Let me tell you something even deeper. The Shemayim didn't go away. Have Amina, the Shemayim went away also. The world, if you look in the Kinos, this is what's just the Makom describes over there, that the first kina, Shavas, is the name of the first kina. Shavas, Shemayim, Ba'aretz. It's not just poetry. The feeling was that the world is dead. The world just died. The blackout. The Shemayim just died. So Yechezkel came along to say, there was a famous maskil or reform guy after the Holocaust. He started a God is Dead movement. To him, it just everything died. Everything died. It was like Hiroshima. This was the feeling of Churban Beis Hamikdash. Yechezkel's nevuah was not about the Beis Hamikdash. He also spoke about Beis Hamikdash. He also gave us all the Shiurim. There'll be another Beis Hamikdash, not to worry. But his Iker nevuah, the one he's famous for, was the Merkava. It's still there. It's still there. I just saw it. That's what Yechezkel's. I just saw it. It's there. And so back to the Adam. Chokelov. I was just I remember I was once sitting. It's at a very, very hush of a person. It's a Hasidic Rebbe's tish. So in Bar. So he asked somebody to start one of the Zmiras. That's what they do. Different Zmiras. So if you're a real Rebbe, you say Askinu Sidos. You got to tell them exactly which Zmiras to put in, but so this guy Yom Zeh Mechubad. So Yom Zeh Mechubad is a daytime Zmiras, and it was night. So the rabbi's like, "Whoa, you're being mashad the whole Seder Bracious. You can't sing a daytime Zmiras at night." It's okay, don't get so particular. But we're talking about to this Rebbe, every word of those Zmiros they were saying at night had to do with night. The subtleties of the Askida Sudasa is wild. What's going on with the Shechina Rita this week. Which Zmiros that these Gedolim or Paitanim decided should be in the day, should be at night, and even some of the Nigunim that are there, you can't just switch things around. So this is, he talked to this guy, the guy who started digging was had a long white beard and long payas, he looked actually a little holier than the Rebbe. But he was guilty of Nadav Avihu. What are you bringing in here, it's just we got to understand the high text. So the Adam, the Balatanya takes it a step further. I don't think that Reb Chaim Volozhin does. And he says that don't forget also, so says it in the Igeres HaKodesh. Don't forget also that there are Taryag mitzvos, Keneged, talking about this, Keneged the 248 and 365 parts of the body, limbs and sinews, and in other words, the mitzvos here. If we're a dugma of the olam, and the olam is a dugma of the Beis Hamikdash, and we're a dugma of the Beis Hamikdash, and all of us are a dugma of what's going on in Shemayim, so understand, says the Baal Tanya, how the 613 mitzvahs come in. Which one do you want to be mevater on your finger? Which one do you want to be mevater? What's Altei mitzvah kala beinecha? Which mitzvah are you going to, I guess you could think, like, if a doctor would, God forbid, tell us, we need to amputate something, your choice. Right? I have the whole room focused on their little toe. But that's there for a reason too. That's there for a reason too. And there's also, which part of the Taryag mitzvahs do you want to be mevater on? Well, I'll tell you, so the Elu mitzvah shodom doshbi, keva, okay. If your feet aren't working, it's nicht good. Like everything is important. So the Baal Tanya adds this other dimension. These are not different things. I don't think that the Torah, the mitzvahs, this is the way the whole thing works, the marechet. This is a marechet, the Torah being the how the whole thing works, the instruction manual for the whole thing. But in great detail, the Adam being the Beis HaMikdash in the world, which works with Taryag mitzvahs, the Beis HaMikdash, it's all. So says Rav Chaim Volozhin, Chen Adam Yama Kodesh HaKollel Gam Kein Kol Sidrei Breishis V'Sidrei HaMerkava Klal HaBriya Kula Hu Gam Kein Dugmas V'Savnis HaMishkan V'HaMikdash V'Chol Kelav. It's all here within us. Mechuvan B'Seder Hiskashrus Pirkei Evara V'Gida V'Chol Koichai. So that Hiskashrus, by the way, is the 613 mitzvos. So it means that there's certain mitzvahs you can't do nowadays. Today you can only do 211 mitzvahs. There's the Chavetz Chaim. So we're not functioning at full strength. We don't even know what it means to be functioning at full strength. We don't know what it means to have our heart really working, physically, spiritually. We don't know. It's all there. Echad be'echad yikshu keseder. L'zais, says Nefesh Hachaim. Hooray! Kivadai ikir inyan hakodesh v'amikdash v'shriya shchinasa yisbarach hu ha'adam. The main part of this whole triangle is which part? Ha'adam. She miskadesh atzmai karoi, and here's the big caveat. If you have a Beis HaMikdash, you have mankind, you have the Shemayim. So the Chorban Beis HaMikdash has proven that we can exist. Maybe not at full strength, but we can exist. So we're existing without a Beis HaMikdash somehow. The Beis HaMikdash certainly can't exist without the Adam. If you go through what's more important, and perhaps the Shemayim is dependent on Adam. She miskadesh, but looking at it a little more positively, she miskadesh atzmai karoi. If a person is mekadesh himself properly, meaning we're living correctly. B'kiyum ha-mitzvahs kulam. Again, the remnants to what the Baal Tanya says. B'kiyum ha-mitzvahs kulam. Why the mitzvahs? Because that's attached to every part of me. Shein tluyin gam came b'shar shan ha'elyon, because to view it as 613 strings going from every one of my Evarim and Gidim up to the Shemayim connected through mitzvahs. B'pirkei evrei hashir koima, and you'll see the expression all over Kabbalah of the shir koima. That's what it means. It means if you'll draw a chart on the wall of an Adam, you will see the entire world. By the way, the core of the person is the tabur ha'olam. The tabur ha'olam is Yerushalayim. That's the core. Ayin Zayar Truma Ves Hamishkan Tasa Acha Rosa Diachida Ayin Sham Heitev Az Hu Atzmai Hamikdash Mamish. Ubetoichoi, I'm my Beis HaMikdash here. I'm a walking Beis HaMikdash. Ubetoichoi, and within me, Hashem Yisbarach Shemoi. What do you say about that sentence? Does that sound Chabadi or what? Ubetoichoi, let's say it again. Hu atzmoi hamikdash mamish. Mamish. Ubetoichoi, within who? Him. Person. Hashem Yisbarach Shemoi. K'maisha Amru. Amar. Yirmiyahu Zayin. Heichel Hashem Hema. Now, I just want to point something out here. Yirmiyahu did not just say Heichel Hashem Hema. First of all, he said Heichel Hashem Hema 3 times. Why he quotes twice is interesting. But what's more interesting is Yirmiyahu said, Al tivtechu b'nevi'ei sheker shayomru heichel Hashem Hema. Don't listen to the false prophets which say heichel Hashem Hema. It's very convenient. It's like quoting a pasuk of Avadatem Elohim Acherim. The Nevi'ei Sheker, Sasuru Achri Levavchem. I mean, you can't just cut off half of a puzzle, right? The Nevi'ei Sheker, Yirmiyahu was saying, don't listen to those people. Don't listen to those Nevi'ei Sheker which said, Heichel Hashem Hema. Don't listen to them. So why are we listening to them? Kabosh Gazav, Reb Chaim Volozhin bringing a raya. How do I know that God is within us? Because Yirmiyahu said so. Heichel Hashem Hema. Well, Yirmiyahu didn't say that. So here's what I think is going on here, and this will end for today. Maybe the last 2 words. That here we were. Rashi says Heichel Hashem Hema 3 times. Keneged Shalosh Regalim. That we went to the Beis HaMikdash 3 times a year. Israel went to the Beis HaMikdash 3 times a year. The Beis HaMikdash is the mirror of the Shemayim in perfection. There's no Avera in the Beis HaMikdash. There's no free choice in the Beis HaMikdash. It's there and it's perfect. If you want to see, and you're deep enough to understand, what the world would look like if it were perfect, so you look at the Beis HaMikdash Binyanai, first Beis HaMikdash. That you'll see what the world is really supposed to look like before we messed it up. So if the world this is the perfect world, and it's true that we are also a replica of the Beis HaMikdash, so that means we're perfect. So it comes out, the Nevi'ei Sheker said, that you don't have to do tshuva. You don't have to worry about, what you're doing, what you're not doing, because you are a replica of the Beis HaMikdash, which is true. And Heichel Hashem Hema. You're going there 3 times a year. You're connecting, you're bonding with the Beis HaMikdash. So you have perfection. So ma baya. And that's what the Nevi'ei Sheker said. Don't worry. You're holding. You see, it's a nice thing, like a Hasidic thing, to tell people they're holy. God is within you. But we have to distinguish that from what the Nevi'ei Sheker said. The Nevi'ei Sheker said, Heichel Hashem. That's what they said. What's the Yirmiyahu's taina? That look, the Beis HaMikdash doesn't have Bechira Chavshus, does it? It just is what it is. We're higher than the Beis HaMikdash. So since we're higher than the Beis HaMikdash, we're also the world in perfection, but we can choose to be imperfect. That's something that the Beis HaMikdash can't do. So what does it mean when you do an Aveira? That Heichel Hashem Hema could have been. You could have been perfect like the Beis HaMikdash. So the Nevi'ei Sheker, if you look at the Dakos, it wasn't the Nevi'ei Sheker like way out there. They were saying something which was such a fine line. They're saying that if we're already privy to the information that we Jews are holy people, so you don't need to do tshuva. And if you follow up there in Yirmiyahu, what does he say? No, you must do tshuva. You can't just rely on the fact that you're Heichal Hashem Heichal, because you messed it up if you do an Aveira. You with me on this? So the Raya, it's fascinating, the Raya from the Nevi HaSheker is actually beautiful. The Raya from the Nevi HaSheker is actually beautiful because Taka were Heichal Hashem, but if you look a couple lines later, She'im Yiskadesh Atzmai Karoi, if a person is Mekadesh himself Karoi, B'kiyum HaMitzvahs Kulam, so then you become the Be'az Hu Atzmai HaMikdash Mamish. When are you Heichal Hashem? If you're completely Kadosh. So we have an opportunity, Yirmiyahu says, and that's the beauty of Tshuva. The beauty of Tshuva is that even if our correspondence to the Beis HaMikdash is wrong, something's off, we can do Tshuva and get back on track. And again, mirror the Shemayim. So we can put it back. But Yirmiyahu said, don't let the Nevi HaSheker fool you, which you're holy and you don't have to do anything. I mean, how many people do we know today that are Nevi HaSheker? No, you don't have to carried away with mitzvahs. Just be a good person. Just have a good heart. Yeah, that's all good. It's true. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, like, if you're overwhelmed with, being like a perfect Beis HaMikdash, and a perfect replica of that's pretty heavy, perfect replica of the entire Shemayim, understand, said Moshe Rabbeinu, Ma Hashem lekecha shayol mimcha ki im li yiroi. It's there. It's built in. Heichal Hashem Heima. All you need to do is have your Shemayim to activate this whole mechanism, and then the Marechet is complete. So that's what Moshe Rabbeinu said. But you see, the minute that we say, "Look, I'm a good person. I'm honest. I'm straight. I don't hurt anybody," the minute that we say that, Nevi HaSheker, well, a holy Jew. It might be holy. I'm not saying somebody's not holy, and I'm not saying that everybody doesn't have this kedusha within them. But it's all a potential kedusha which will never activate correctly without the Taryag mitzvahs. It'll never activate correctly. It'll never activate correctly without the Shekhinah. So here's the good place to start is with the Kodesh HaKadoshim, like the lave. So it's filu b'lay kavanah. So, in other words, if you're not activating your lave, what do you have to do with the Kodesh HaKadoshim in the Beis HaMikdash? What's my kesher? If my lave is not right, liboy bal imay, as the Navi says, lama li raiv zivchecha. I don't need any korbanos. I don't need you to do the stuff with your hands if you're not doing anything with your heart. So you're davening with your heart. That's the kli avoda here. But the idea is to think of ourselves to be misponen in this. It's just it's a complex, sophisticated meditation to think that I am me, I am the world. It's all kollel b'tochi. Tzadik yisoid olam. And I'm the Beis HaMikdash. It's all bilvavi mishkan evna. I want to look at Sunday with you at the Chovis Avavos, which spells this out, the connection of how we have to do our avodah.